Train your body with the American College of Sports Medicine on Radio MD. RadioMD.com. Here's Melanie Cole.
Well, you always wonder how alcohol affects your system, and we hear that resveratrol in wine can really help your heart, but then we also hear how alcohol can blow your diet and help increase excessive weight gain. So those of us that like to drink, you know, it's kind of a catch-22, and my guest today is Dr. John Higgins, one of our fan favorites here in sports cardiologist with the UT Health Science Center.
Well,
Dr.
thank you,
Higgins,
Melanie. Yay.
is alcohol good,
Is it happy hour
bad,
yet?
indifference? What are we supposed to do?
Hello?
I mean, one study says it's good for
Hello?
us and one study says it's bad for us.
Hello?
And how do we know? Okay, so, you know, we just never know. And that's the thing. Is alcohol good for us? Is it not good for us? They say that drinking alcohol can spark eating. So it reduces some of your inhibitions and then you mindlessly eat. But drinking wine before you sleep, they say could possibly even help you lose weight. And that women who drank 1 or 2 glasses were more likely to lose weight than women who didn't. It's all very, very trifling and confusing. I do like to drink my wine, as you all know. So Dr. Higgins, wine, alcohol, good, bad, weight gain, bad for our hearts. What do we think?
I tell you, Melanie, it's a little bit of a tricky road to navigate here, but I think we should be able to sort it out. There's this new study that looked at why. Actually, I think the nice thing about this study, Melanie, is that it gives us an explanation for why sometimes you get the munchies, you know, when you're drinking alcohol. And I think this is a good study that it actually helps us to understand a little bit more about the munchies, and also, you know, the morning after, you know, having some drinking the night before. Often people will get the munchies, but and get into the binge eating. But I think the important thing here, Melanie, is that you mentioned before that red wine is, you know, red wine that is an important. Has some important antioxidants, resveratrol. You mentioned it's supposed to be very good for heart disease as well as certain cancers, including colon cancer. It does help to burn fat cells as well, and so I think that red wine, which the one of the studies did look at, and they found that, and these were women who were around, you know, in the 40s to 60 age range. If they had one or 2 glasses of red wine at night, those women seemed to eat less snacks, and they also tended to lose weight. Now, the other study looked at pure alcohol. So this hooked up an IV drip of alcohol
okay.
into the person, and when you look, and there was several studies that have looked at this, and the difference is here, Melanie. First of all, it's just pure alcohol going right into your blood, and secondly, the dose is kind of, it's around about 4 to 6 units or drinks of alcohol. So this is a much higher dose, and it also is just the pure alcohol. It's not any of the other things that we know, for example, that are really beneficial.
Yeah, that's if you're
like
somebody who
wine.
mainlines alcohol, and none of us really do that. So the fact is that what do we want to take from this, Dr. Higgins? Do we take that drinking our 1 or 2 glasses of wine at night is a fine thing to do, or is vodka and gin a little bit more, you know, different than that?
Sure. Well, that's a great question, Melanie. The answers that we have from many different studies done in many different countries seem to point to the conclusion that wines seem to be the best for overall health and cardiovascular as well as cancer, et cetera. So, and red wine looks like it's probably better, a little bit better than white wine for a couple of reasons. So I think if you're having 1 or 2 glasses of wine, the official stance from the guidelines are that they recommend women have 1 glass of wine and men can have 2 glasses of wine per day. That's the National Institutes of Health. Their recommendations. They look like they're totally okay. once you start moving onto hard liquor, which is, very a high percentage of alcohol, and it doesn't have a lot of those other beneficial substances that are found in wine, Melanie, or if, like in this study, you're mainlining alcohol, it looks like that's probably not a good idea. So, and also in moderation too, Melanie. I think that's the important thing. And this study does give us an explanation for why people sometimes, when they're hitting it, having a big session, and then they suddenly at 2 in the morning, or in the next morning, they wake up with those hunger pangs, and that's when they will often grab the unhealthy quick fix type of foods. So I think there's that association, as well as the fact that anything, when you're doing things to the extreme, no matter what it is,
That's right.
generally will have untoward.
Well, and anytime you alter your perception too, you're at a nice party, the food, maybe you even ate a little before you went, but the food looks better and better after you've had a few glasses of wine. So we all know how that really makes you feel. And if you were to say what you would want people to do. You're a sports cardiologist, so you know about the heart, and you know about how alcohol affects the body and the physiological effects and to the heart. Do you yourself, and we all know that I'm a wine drinker, do you yourself drink wine, Dr. Higgins? And do you say to someone, yes, you can have a glass of wine, you could have one or two, and it's not bad for you?
Yes, no, absolutely, Melanie. I do, and I also recommend to my patients, especially my heart patients, that they have 1 or 2 glasses of red wine with their evening meal, and I or as a substitute for a snack later on, rather than actually having that dessert cake. Maybe instead have a glass of red wine. Absolutely, this is beneficial. And by the way, too, Melanie, the number of people that were in the respective studies, I mean, the red wine study, which showed that it was beneficial to women, we're talking about 20,000 women who were followed for 14 years, whereas the mainline alcohol study involved around about 20 to 30 individuals who were 20 years of age. So we're talking about very different types of populations and different delivery. I mean, in one case, you're getting pure alcohol, and in the other case, you're getting alcohol together with something that we know has resveratrol. It has other really, really good substances in it, and it's natural. So I think those are the important things, and I would recommend to people that have heart disease to have a glass of red wine in the evening. If you don't drink alcohol or don't want to, the next best thing probably is to do a red grape juice. And in fact, there is one that was studied by the American Heart Association, Welch's Concord grape juice, and there are some others as well. The main thing is when you're in the supermarket, take a look at the grape juices, and you'll see the little heart symbol, the American heart symbol, and those particular ones have been studied and found to be beneficial for people, although it does appear, Melanie, that the red wine itself is the best.
And that is a fermented product, but that's a great bit of advice, Dr. Higgins, if you're not a drinker, look at the grape juice, look for the heart health sign, and know that these are good grapes that are going to really do your body good. And that's really what it's about, and what we're talking about here is also moderation. So you heard it right here. You can have that glass of red wine. It's okay for you, but it might contribute to weight gain if it helps you reduce your inhibitions and you eat a little bit too much. So the studies are out there, but of course, everything in moderation. That's what we say here at Radio MD. This is Melanie Cole. More great show coming up. Stay well and stay tuned.